surprise trades. We've got cuts, big-time extensions. I will tell you what you need to know. We've had a busy 24 hours, a busy morning already in the NFL. And do you know who didn't get tagged? Cowboys D-Tackle Osa Odighizuwa. He has a brand new 4-year, $80 million deal. His mom was there to help sign it to stay in Dallas, and he's about to join me to talk about it. We also have filmmaker, media mogul, absolute legend, executive producer Gotham Chopra joining us. Let's talk GOATs. Let's talk Enigma. Let's talk Aaron Rodgers going forward. All that right now. Breaking news this morning, hot off the presses here, the Chiefs trading All-Pro guard Joe Thuney to Chicago. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Chicago making an awesome trade. I love this. What do they get back, those Chiefs? A 2026, a future 4th-round pick. This comes a day after the Bears traded for Jonah Jackson, which we did not even talk about on yesterday's show because it was so jam-packed. But he, of course, spent time connective tissue rule with Ben Johnson up in Detroit. What a home run for Chicago. This is Ben Johnson going and saying, this is what I said in the morning meeting when this happened. He went into Pohl's office and he put his feet up. Oh, gosh, I'm too short to do this. And he said, listen here, Poles, we're going to run this back. We're going to say, what was I successful doing up in Detroit for these Lions? What was my stamp on success? It was the trenches. It was the Carmen Vitale special. It was Penei Sewell. It was Ragnow. It was Decker. Caleb, ipso facto on the Chicago side, sacked a league-leading 68 times last year. Were some of those on him? I don't know. Chicago fans skewered future Hall of Famer Luke Kuechly about this, saying, no, he doesn't hold on to the ball too long. Yeah, he does. Some of it's on him. A lot of it's on the offensive line. 108 hits overall is crazy talk. This is a dire situation. It needs to be addressed. I'm so happy for Chicago. For Ryan Poles to say, all right, Ben Johnson, I see you. We're going to work. We're going to collab. We're going to make this big dent. People, dost thou understand before free agency even starts? What a win. What a home run. Chicago attacking this. How can we not be excited? Like, let's go, Bears fans. And beyond the help that Thuney's going to give you on the field, what he's going to be able to do to help protect Caleb and whoever those running backs are, and I'm sure they're going to hit the draft for some of them. I know Swift is there. But that should be addressed here, I'm sure, too, a la Ben Johnson in Detroit and that footprint. You're getting a dude who's coming with 4 Super Bowl rings and 2 All-Pros. That matters, too. That is a guy you can build around in this rebuild of not only the offensive line, but the team and the idea that you can win and be successful. We're waiting to see how all the financials work out, where the decimal points turn out to be. But the Bears will at least have $40 million left to spend in free agency after this. And they're picking in the top 10 at number 10, right? So it has me thinking, you know, Ashton Genty, to be frank with you. It has me thinking, is he in play there at 10? The Lions, of course, took Gibbs at 12 a couple of years ago. Wouldn't put it past him to take a big swing on that or beef up the line. Either way, very exciting day for Chicago, and I hope Chicago wins. Are enjoying it as they should. And there's no, you know, I know like Hamilton trades get made, like we won't really know how it'll look until like 5 years from now, but like, no, we love a low-risk home run for the Chicago. Yeah. You know, I'm not saying Chicago won this side. There's a KC side of this too that you can't like put it past Veach because he's probably got a plan. But just like, okay, Chicago, I'm listening.
Yeah, and they're 2 franchises at very different stages. So for the Bears, they have a lot of money to spend, and it makes sense for them to take on the cap hit of a Thuney. And I think he was phenomenal last year for Kansas City. He held that offensive line together all year and covered up a lot of the holes that ended up rearing their head in that Super Bowl. But he is still playing at such a high level. This is a huge, huge win for them. And yeah, for Kansas City, they're at a different place right now because they have a lot of big contracts on the books and they can't pay everybody. And these are the tough decisions you have to make. Yeah,
and I think the right reaction from Chiefs fans should be, I love it and I hate it. Like, you hate it because of what Joe Thuney means to your organization. There's an emotional pool, but it's the responsibility of the front office and Veach, and he has done this better than everybody in winning now and also considering your future. Does having Patrick Mahomes help? Sure. But Joe Thuney is fantastic but he's also turning 33 this year. You also have to plan for your future. You also, and I'm sure he's got, he's not playing checkers, he's chessing it up. He's 17 steps ahead. And the move, this single move, saves the Chiefs $16 million worth of cap space. And it came down to having to do something that you love and hate. You love ensuring your future and making the right moves at the right time, but also, having to sacrifice, I don't know, you have to sacrifice Tooney. You got to keep 25-year-old Trey Smith instead. It makes a lot of sense, right? Why can't I think of the other offensive lineman? He's 25 too, or 20. He's even younger.
Oh, Kingsley at 22 that they're going to move him to guard, second round pick last year, played left tackle. It didn't really work out there. So it sounds like everything we're hearing, he's going to move to left guard. So yeah, more youth there on the O-line. More youth there on the O-line is what we're looking for. So yeah, we're looking at that. There was another part of this that I wanted to get to though. Cause I mean, you got to look at, and just, it sucks. Some GMs they have clearance to this next level in the video game where you just have blind faith in them. Yeah. And it's lazy of me, but get over it. Veach is in a small, world of these guys that exist where it's yeah, you can trade Tyreek and all right, you can do that. So yeah. Yeah. The path is getting toughy for Patrick, right? But he's also going to be on this revenge tour. And yeah, Veach is in this blind faithy place where I'm yeah, and it'll be great. It'll all be great. Yeah. We're going to figure it all out. That's just what they sort of earn. Now, I'm hearing that there's news on Hubbard. What is going on? I don't know anything. Tell me everything. Yeah, so the Bengals released Sam Hubbard, and then immediately after, he announced his retirement, which is kind of shy. Still just 29 years old for Sam. Obviously, has been dealing with a lot of injuries the last couple of years. But, yeah, I mean, it's a move that saves the Bengals almost $10 million in cap space as they try to pay everybody, but didn't see this one coming and walking away from the game at 29. But
I won't say that I saw it coming, but I definitely told you last year that there's a lot of he's not playing the way he used to, or whatever, maybe it's all the changes and all the losses that they share, personnel-wise. It's a health thing for sure. There's stuff going on. Yeah, and it's tough. Yeah, he's into his entire career as a Bengal meant so much to that team. And the way he played, he gave his body to that organization. So I think that I hope everybody's doing a beautiful retrospective of everything that he's done. From this moment. I mean, unbelievable, huge part of how they got to that Super Bowl. And a loss and a star that they very much kept when they've departed with the Jesse Bateses and the DJ Readers of the world over the years. I hate to see this. I hate to bring up the money part of this. I'm sure that went into part of the release. Is it $10 million they're saving? What are they saving? Do we know? Yeah, it's in the ballpark. It's a little over $9 million that they're going to save against the cap with all these big contracts they have to hand out. I wonder if retiring is retiring. I imagine, I don't super believe in retiring anymore. I don't believe in it as a concept as it relates to the NFL. Gosh, I'm shocked by that a little bit. I'm going to dig into that. I'm going to see what I can find out. But for now, it's just what a career. What a career by Sam. Walking away from it for now or for good at the age of 29, I do believe. Chester just texted me. Hi, Dad. So excited. News coming on your show about Chiefs-Bears trade. Yeah! There you go. My dad secretly does not love the Chiefs, and I think it's very funny because he's obviously got my nieces and my sister-in-law and everybody. But he's kind of he secretly only to me isn't that in on them. But he'll wear the red shirt Super Bowl Sunday. He'll cheer for them, of course, and do all those things. It's very funny. Okay, we're going to take a break here. We do want to talk a little bit about Saquon's deal, which we were well ahead of the revaluing market for running backs. We've got Gotham Chopra on the show, and we've got lots to come. Osa, newly paid. Okay, let me just get to where I need to be on that. My dad at Hamilton, my dad will surely have some excellent texts about Aaron after we talk to Gotham about it. No, it's so funny.
What are his thoughts on the trade?
Chester will be like, I think he watches on television, so he's not seeing this. But he'll say, like, he'll be like, I just think he gets lucky. I don't know. Like, Patrick gets lucky. Like, he doesn't like buy into it or something. But he'll never say it in front of the girls or Adam even. Like, he just won't. It's just very funny to watch that dynamic. Okay, let's see. But yeah, go Chicago. If you're from Chicago, like, you know, do a dance this morning. We have to address Chicago's pitiful treatment of Luke Kuechly. I can't, you know, turn around without seeing Chicagoans now talk about Caleb holding the ball.
Yeah.
Like, and the amount of shit that they gave Luke, I'm offended by.
Yeah, and Luke saw it 2 games into the season, and I guess people weren't ready to see it yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have a minute and a half. I do want to look at the Saquon thing. Okay, so and congrats to Saquon Barkley, everybody. Yesterday, Eagles signing him. It was a bit of a surprise. 2-year, $41.2 million extension. Keeps him in Philly through 2028. Makes him the first $20 million a year running back in NFL history. We love it for him. And here's the thing, the Eagles didn't have to do this. I don't know NFL teams. Insert teams here. Maybe get ahead of stuff. He signed his deal a year ago. This didn't have to happen. He was under contract for 2 more years. 3rd highest paid running back in the league. Howie, love ya. Lori, love ya. Culture matters. They decide to reward him. What a thought. Pay him what he's worth. What a thought. Make him happy, satisfied. Keep him happy. Have no drama. All of that new money guaranteed on top of it is incredible. You want to talk about an organizational culture and treating your players the way they should be treated? Look no further than Philadelphia. Love seeing this. James Cook happy about it, tweeting good business. We know James wants a deal. We know all of these running backs want to affect the market, reset it, revalue it, given what happened. Derrick Henry, of course, part of that world. Amazing. Breece Hall, by the time we get there, I think there's all going to be in line for some next level deals now that the market seems to be correcting itself, or I at least have optimism and faith that the salary cappers and stuff are doing what they should around front offices everywhere. Good on Howie. Oh, I'm excited. My chair is...
Once I started my spiritual journey, everything shifted. The metamorphosis is happening.
Most people are not doing the walking.
I'm not most people. I'm trying to find what a new edge is. There's football legacy.
Rodgers, touchdown!
And then there's character legacy.
Who's gonna be the big dog with me?
When that ride comes to a stop, who are you gonna be?
Gosh, even in just watching that preview, I'm not ready for an NFL world where I don't get those sound bites from Aaron Rodgers. I'm not most people. One after the other after the other. What is the future? What was the past? What was the journey? Well, my next guest probably has some of those answers. A filmmaker, a media mogul, author. Was that a baseball bat? What was that? He's the co-founder of the Emmy Award winning. We can talk baseball too. Religion of Sports covers it all. You, my friend, were the executive producer of the Netflix docuseries Aaron Rodgers Enigma. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm so
Big
happy
fan
to
of
see
yours
you.
as well. So
Thank
I'm happy to
you.
be here.
You've worked with the best. It is truly an honor to share some space with you and get your thoughts this morning. The Tom Brady's, Simone Biles, Serena Williams, everyone in between. I would love to just ask you about your process. How do you land on who you want to partner with, who you want to cover? How does that work?
Great question. I love storytelling and I love sports. Both of them are driven by personalities and great characters. So I think I'm always on the hunt. I mean, greatness, obviously, people who have been, great at what they do. Sports is mythic in that sense. Sports is cinematic, of course. You can see it when people are performing at the highest level. So I think it lends itself, to cinema and to great storytelling. But, it's character driven, complicated characters, interesting characters, generally I find towards the end of their careers, athletes who have perspective. But then we're also just looking for the same things that make stories work: tension, conflict, challenges, adversity. It's great storytelling. It's I hate to use the word formula, but the formula is Joseph Campbell, Hero of a Thousand Faces. You're always looking for complicated, great characters.
And you certainly found one in Aaron Rodgers. Now, with all these greats, there's the connective tissue. They all sort of subscribe to the same thing. They're made of the same thing. Qualities, part of their character, their drive, all of that, their stories. What is something that Aaron has that sets him apart? What is unique to Aaron Rodgers?
I mean, Aaron is pretty aloof. He's defiant. Yeah, he has a lot of the same core qualities that drive great characters, great athletes. There's a lot of self-belief, of course. One of the things I really love, especially when I started working with him, it's the title of the series, is enigmatic. He wasn't constantly, out there. He hadn't talked very much. He wasn't, a lot on social media. There was scarcity around him. People had strong opinions, of course, because he'd been around for a long time playing, and, by virtue of that, you're interacting with the media, et cetera. But he hadn't really told his story in a sort of definitive way. And so that scarcity really drives interest. And I think even from a filmmaking standpoint, from a storytelling standpoint, there's a lot of room to explore. So I think that definitely differentiated in a world where pretty much everybody has huge social followings and kind of almost lets it all out. Aaron had that mystery to him. And I thought that was pretty unique and pretty compelling.
In Enigma, through the process, it's been a few months now since the release, did he prove your ideas of him correct? Did we demystify him through Enigma? What did you learn about Aaron, who everyone thinks they have figured out, but do they?
I don't think I figured him out. And I've spent a lot of time with him, including going down to Costa Rica, going on ayahuasca trips and stuff like that. It's all in the doc. And, being with him a lot during his rehab, in these very quiet moments, especially in the early stages of coming back from his Achilles injury, it was oftentimes just the two of us. And really talking about a lot of stuff beyond football. So I feel like I got to know him. And yet, if you asked me now, do I fully understand him? Absolutely not. Like I said before, he's aloof. He's very thoughtful. He's smart. He's all of those things. But he also, I think, keeps a lot of people, myself included, at arm's length. And I think that's part of his personality, part of his upbringing, part of his experience, getting to know people. So I feel like I probably know him better than most, but I wouldn't say I know him. He and I, if you ask me, and I'm sure you're going to ask me, what do I think about the future? I have opinions, but it's not particularly informed by anything he's told me. We're not, intimate in that way.
Yeah, I don't know that you could be more intimate than ayahuasca, watching somebody do that, having him be so open about that. It's clearly important for him to have people understand that. And you're talking about the way he was brought up. Everyone should watch Enigma. You get the pieces of that. You get the pieces about his family, at least what he's comfortable sharing. It is, we don't see that anywhere else. So if you haven't seen it, please go stream it, and it helps you sort of put together the enigma, the puzzle that is Aaron Rodgers, and then you can form your own opinions. When it comes to the unique filmmaking parts of this, I imagine, the Costa Rica going there and saying, all right, let's do this thing was interesting to you. And I'm sure you researched everything there is to know about ayahuasca. Is there anything that stuck out to you about that part of this?
Well, I think what first is Aaron's openness and willingness to talk about that, to share that experience. That was unique. And I think, again, going back to your first question, what makes him unique is the lot of athletes and a lot of people of certain stature or fame, there's a lot of barriers to getting to know them, and there's physical barriers. There's publicists and agents and managers and lawyers and stuff like that. And this sort of enigma or maybe irony of Aaron, who is so aloof and who he's none of those things. Once you're in, or once he was committed to this project, he was so accessible. It was him and I and this creative team we built, my co-director, et cetera, were directly interacting with him. He was the one who set up that whole ayahuasca thing, invited us, told us where to be and all of that. So there was just like an openness and a willingness to share some of that. Like what's interesting about the ayahuasca too is like, yeah, I did some research, but like there's no resource in the world that is more informed about ayahuasca plant medicine than Aaron Rodgers. And I think that's like one of the quote misunderstandings. People just dismiss him as like, oh, this, freak and like this strange guy. And no, he's like really, he's the most informed person I've ever met on plant medicine, on ayahuasca. And this is a tradition that goes back. This is not some just, new age thing. This is a tradition that goes back thousands of years in some cases. And Aaron was incredibly informed. It's one of the things you kind of see in the doc. There's some other players who are involved in because he's become the go-to person. I think a lot of people have been turned on to ayahuasca and psychedelics, recently because of trends. Aaron's been doing it for a long time. He's incredibly knowledgeable. He knows where to go. He knows how to do it safely. So a lot of people trust him. And that was something that I sort of feel like I discovered along the way.
How close were you to letting him convince you to do it? Because that's the other thing about him is he doesn't want to just tell you about it. He wants you to do it with him. He wants everyone in his orbit to experience ayahuasca, a darkness retreat, the things that have helped him on his path to self-actualization or self-discovery that he seems to be on. How close did he get? How many times did he ask you to do it?
Well, I think part of why he and I worked on this together is I have been exposed. I haven't done ayahuasca.
Okay, got it.
But the darkness retreats, the meditation, all that stuff, it's been a part of my life for a long time. So that was like an area that we could, talk about and relate to. On the ayahuasca, yeah, of course, he's sort of, it's been a big part of his life. It's really opened him up to a lot of his own self-awareness, et cetera. So I think he's a big advocate of it. But I think he's also, you do it when you're ready. He's one of those, he understands. And, you do it when the time is right for you. Certainly it was not right for me to be doing it in that setting where we were trying to, be professional and stuff like that. I will tell you, if and when I'm ready and I haven't felt the calling yet to do it, he would be the guy I would go to. I was like, wherever this Four Seasons version of ayahuasca is the way I would do it. He knows his way around that tradition, and I'm sure, I know he's talked to you about it. Yeah. He's the guy. He's the guy.
There's a lot of beauty in it. I'm intrigued for sure. Let me ask you this. In being the outside sort of, you're archiving this as it's happening in real time, and it's something that's so meaningful to him, and you want to get it right and all of that. I have to ask you, pre-ayahuasca and post-ayahuasca, is there a difference in Aaron Rodgers that you noticed? This is the pragmatic part of me. Like, what's the change? What's the difference?
Yeah, I think, first of all, again, he's done it, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's many times, right? Like over a dozen, if I recall correctly. So I think there is a process, right? It's the same thing. And well, I want to be careful about because it's unique, but like all these things he does that are resets, the darkness retreat, the meditation retreats, the yoga retreats, the ayahuasca, the goal of them is to remove yourself from the noise of the world, all the many distractions. And, we're all constantly on our phones. When you're someone like Aaron Rodgers, everyone every day is speculating about you, et cetera. And the goal of all of these processes is to just remove yourself. And so you definitely see after that, I think like in this experience, he did the retreat and then almost immediately he was back and within 24 hours had to be at some charity event and there were tons of media and people are speculating about, the upcoming season and all of that stuff, where he was in his rehab, et cetera. And you could see that immersion back into the world, but also like just a sense of self. Like what I think most of these exercises do is they remind you of who you are. They enable you to sort of go inward and sort of reflect on what's important to you at that point in your life. And it's the reason why you do them over and over again, because gradually you get sucked back into the world and you do kind of hear all the noise and you get reactive to the noise. And I think what these things do is they reset you. And I saw that with Aaron. And I think it's why he does it pretty much every offseason. From what I can tell, he goes through and he channels these different experiences again.
You had this unique lens into his life, and I thank you for bringing it to us. And you can, of course, stream Enigma on Netflix, as a lot of us have already. But he's making these decisions in his life that I'm sure he's enjoying a reset. And we will talk about the future in a little bit here. But it's filmed, it gets put together, edited. You get it to Netflix. All this is happening, and then you're watching the season play out. And then he's in the headlines for all these things. And you do have, you carry with you this unique experience of getting a little bit closer to him than all of us had. Knowing him a little in that unique way, what is the biggest misconception about Aaron as you're seeing all the comments about him and what the commentary is, the critiques, the compliments? What's the biggest misconception in your opinion?
I mean, that he doesn't care, that he just, that he's so aloof that it doesn't bother him, that he's not paying attention, that he doesn't have good relationships with his teammates. I mean, I was around him, especially the season that he didn't play. He has great relationships. And all the people we talked to, especially going back to the Green Bay days, et cetera, there was deep affection for him. And so I think just this idea that he's so aloof that he doesn't care, I think is a misconception. I mean, he cares, and he's obviously super competitive. And I think last season, he had ambitions and goals. He worked really hard physically, mentally, emotionally, et cetera, to come back from a pretty dark injury. When you get hurt at 39 years old, that type of injury, and you commit to coming back and you work so hard, and then it doesn't go well. And look, it was a confluence of events that led to that. I think it was really difficult. And I don't know, people just sort of assume certain things and don't know how much, I think it pained him to go through that experience. And look, some of that's him. Some of that is, he's outspoken. He is sort of defiant, and he's reactive to all of that. But, so I think I just think this, and I think that's in general, the way we sort of observe things now. And, we all have access to sort of talk about it. I think there's an energy around that can be difficult, even for people who are used to it, who have been doing it for a long time.
As you're watching the season not go according to plan, were you surprised by how it turned out and some of the commentary about it?
I guess not surprised. Look, I'm not a journalist in that sense. I don't come in to do an objective, I think that's one of the misconceptions about what we do. Filmmakers or storytellers, like you said, the process is you capture all this stuff, then you sit in an edit room, you make choices, and you decide in many ways with the subject, what are you willing to share with the world? What is the story you want to tell? This is not like a reality show that's quickly turned around and put out there on social media. So I think, I was surprised because, you spend so much time, you see how much work he puts into it physically and otherwise to get back on the field. And then you sort of convince yourself it's going to go. And, you have a body of work also in his case. He's been one of the greatest of all time. He does this really well. And so I think I expected, despite the fact that I'm a Patriots fan and historically have understood the misery of the Jets, I sort of felt this is going to work, And then it didn't. And it is kind of shocking, and there's a lot of reasons for that. And there's 31 other teams that are really trying hard also. So I get it. That objectivity returns and you're oh yeah, I can see why maybe this isn't working. But then, week after week and just all the other stuff that happens. And, there's a reason they call these things unscripted. They just, it's sports and you can never really predict the outcome. And so, but it was pretty shocking to watch it, and come apart.
Yeah, and now we'll talk about, the future. You mentioned the Patriots, he wants, I'm assuming, he wants the Tom Brady Cinderella. He wants Peyton Manning Cinderella. It's important to him. His mortality is well documented. He's talked about it. It's his legacy is something that he considers. And so much of Enigma, and why I think it's so beautiful, it's about this journey of him trying to find peace, from me as a fan watching. That's what he's trying to find answers. He's trying to figure it out. And not everybody is vulnerable enough to share that, and people don't even try to better themselves. And that's what I love about Aaron. In his NFL journey, for it to end at peace, what needs to happen?
Well, Kay, I think it goes back to one of your earlier questions, like what makes Aaron unique. And I say this with a lot of respect to the people I've worked with in the past, who are so devoted and committed and all about football or tennis or whatever sport, fighting. I've worked with a lot of great people. One of the things that's unique about Aaron is he has a big life. He has stuff outside of football. He's of course super competitive, super committed. He wants to be great. He wants to win every game that he's in. He wants to win Super Bowls and all of that. But he's also got a lot of areas of interest outside of his life. You see it in the doc. Anybody who's a fan or watched Aaron has seen that. Like in the ayahuasca, is an example of that. Like he's deeply, deeply into plant medicine and just the science and spirituality around it. I think he has a big life outside, and he has a big future outside of the sport. Obviously, he wants to keep playing, and he wants to have success, and he wants that Cinderella story, though, you mentioned Tom. Tom didn't have a Cinderella story at the end. And I'm like the sort of chief curator of the Tom Brady story, but and you story tell, but the last season wasn't what Tom wanted it to be. And so I think these things have a way of, telling themselves. And so I hope for Aaron's sake, because I know how important it is to him, and he certainly didn't, I don't think, want to go out that way with the Jets, the way that last season ended. So my sense is he still wants to play in the right situation. And I hope he does, and I hope he has success. I mean, of course, it would be a dream for him to go to the playoffs and have success and go to the Super Bowl, but that's really hard. And there's a lot of other, factors that kick into that. But I hope he finds that peace. I remember when we were doing Enigma, and we were trying to figure out, even for us, what was the ending going to be? And I felt like the ending was him getting back onto the field, because really that story started with the Achilles injury, and that was the catalyst and the comeback, and it was him just getting on the field, completing a pass, finding the joy in that. Whether or not they won that game, which they didn't, the opening game, the 49ers, whether or not they went to the playoffs and all that was sort of irrelevant. The resolution to the story in that case was getting back on the field, the joy of that, completing a pass, being with his teammates, all of which he made very clear were the things that were most important to him. Winning is great, but I think for Aaron in particular, just like that, it's sort of spiritual, that experience of being with his teammates, being on the field, was the most important to him.
And that's where religion of sports lives. Sports, science, spirituality, and it ends in an enigma still for Aaron Rodgers. We don't quite have the answer. We'll root him on, of course, on his journey of self-discovery. What is next for you, Gotham? What is the next project you're working on before we let you go?
Man, we always have a lot of stuff going on. And like I said earlier, I think sports is mythic. I'm a huge fan, of course, in general, and I have my favorite teams, and the Patriots being one. I have high hopes for them. Drake and
love Drake
being back. Yeah, no, I'm very excited about the potential. But I'm taking the long game, playing the long game on that one, the long view. But what am I working on? I'm working on a very exciting thing that's close to my heart about the Red Sox right now, and really about Boston, I would say, more broadly, and just New England, and just what teams mean to places. But, I have a new thing. I've been working with Steph Curry again on another project, so we're really excited about that. And we just always have a lot going on. So, I love storytelling. I love sports. So I'm very fortunate to be doing what I'm doing.
And we're so lucky that you love those things, because we are the benefactors. We get to benefit from all of that. I'll ask you this. You like not that you like, but there's stories to tell towards the end, and there's experience and perspective and all of that. If you could strap a GoPro to somebody's head right now, if you could, early on, let's get in early with footage and all those things, and you get to track somebody as they go, a young cat, if you will. Who's interesting to you? That's in the beginning steps of their journey and across all sports. Tough question.
Yeah, it's a really good question. I mean, look, there's some incredible. Coco Gauff is amazing, and just early stages. I've had the incredible fortune of working with Serena Williams. And again, looking back at, 20 plus years of success and all of that, Coco, her trajectory, early on is looking like that. And so, everybody wants to, I'm in this business. Everybody talks about doing their last dance. And, you have to, you have to be able to achieve that. You have to be great and legendary like Michael was, but you also have to have had somebody filming along the way. And so, I think Coco's a sort of really interesting place. I'd like to say, but this is my personal bias, Drake May, is early in his career. Look, I think, one of the worlds that really intrigues me is the world of soccer, or football, international football. And someone like Jude Bellingham is really interesting, just because, soccer is one of those sports that's so much bigger than the game. Just when you look around the world, soccer speaks to equal pay, geopolitics, race, et cetera. And that's like one of the things. I see sports as a language. Sports is a way that we understand everything that's going on around us. And so when I look to the world of soccer, I see someone like Jude Bellingham, which is where he comes from, what he represents, where he's playing right now. That's really interesting. And he's just a huge star, and I think got a long road ahead of him. So
love that. I'm going to keep tabs on that and bring it back for my docuseries on Gotham Chopra coming to a Netflix near you. We appreciate it so much. Everybody, please go check out Enigma if you haven't already in Gotham. We are just so grateful to have time with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you're my GOAT. I was going to ask him who his GOAT is, but I think we all know it's Tom Brady. Or maybe it's not. We'll have to hang out with him next time, sometime down the line. Please say thank you to him. What a fun interview. I want him to do Burrow, by the way. That's what I want. Give me the innards of that. Take me in there.
That would be fascinating.
Yeah, I would like that one. Aaron's tough. Aaron is tough.
Yeah. That was really interesting, though.
Well, the first thing he said when I talked about his future, his first answer was he's got a lot more. Makes me think he's not coming back. Not that he.
Yeah,
I think
with all the
has
other
some
stuff
inside
he has
track.
going on.
But
yeah, but that was interesting. Like, he has so many other things going on in his life.
I'm surprised when it's like all the reports about I am and I'm not. Like, you don't want to go out that way. But also, like, Aaron has always been more than a football player, especially in his own thoughts.
Yeah.
So, and we all agree that there's all these different places you can go. But I'm not saying that football wasn't the most important to him. But I think he prides himself on, I did not solely focus on this in my life. There are other things that I think his teammates credit him for, he's showing that there's other things to be thinking about that are bigger than this. I think he's always been that guy.
Yeah. So you're right. It is kind of in contrast with all these reports that he does want to keep pushing, keep going, but
in contrast is a great way to frame. It's it's all in contrast, but that's what makes him so compelling.
Yeah.
And I do mean what I said. I mean what I said. People don't try to improve themselves, or not even improve, just figure themselves out.
Yeah.
And he's always trying to figure everything out, and I give him credit for that.
Yeah. Definitely, and it was interesting too, hearing the relationship with his teammates. And we see it. We had Devontae on, and you can tell the reverence that he has for him and the respect he has for him.
Do you know what I was thinking while he was saying that? Oh, that's a good bite, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The world does not want to believe what is true, and the truth is, teammates love Aaron Rodgers, and he's a great teammate, and he does you can't go to Green Bay and go to Cheesecake Heaven and not hear. Remember that the fan stopped me in the parking lot
Yeah.
and wanted to tell me just how amazing Aaron is and show me pictures of how many times Aaron has stopped to talk to his son. And, you know, and like, so, you know, in my head, literally while Gotham's saying that, I'm like, oh, there's a bite. Like, oh, great team. Like, the world doesn't care.
That's right. People are going to believe what they want to believe about him. Yeah.
Here we go now.
It's Osa Odighizuwa. And he goes down for a loss. He had no chance. Taken down for the sack. Odighizuwa. Brought down by Odighizuwa.
I can't believe I don't have a bottle of champagne to share with my friend here, newly extended D-Tackle for the Dallas Cowboys, Osa Odighizuwa. You doggy with this 80 mil. What?
Thank you. I mean, I have champagne here if it helps.
I want to hear everything. I'm so happy for you. 4 years, 80 mil, 50 mil guaranteed, 20 mil signing bonus, and you brought your mom to the signing.
Yeah, of course I'm going to bring my mom. She's the whole reason why I'm even in this position. So got to have her with me. It's only right. Tell
me everything. I want to know what you were feeling when you finally got the deal done. Has it hit you? Is it slowly hitting you? I imagine, like, if you're sitting on a rocking chair in your head over some beautiful lake, and you're thinking, I got this huge pay raise. I've worked so freaking hard for my entire life. What are the thoughts that are going through your head?
I mean, it was just, you know, being able to take care of my mom. I feel like that was like the first thing and probably the most important thing is just being able to take care of my mom and then like my family and just making sure that for the rest of our lives that we're going to be good. That's going to be awesome. And that's probably what hit me the hardest. Like, it took me a little while, but after we left, me and my mom sat down for lunch and we just had a moment, you know?
Well, take me into that moment. No, I don't know. What kind of moment?
You know, I got to look at my mom, the beautiful soul that she is, and tell her that the struggle is over. That was really awesome. The mission, obviously, in that regard, is accomplished. She's going to be solid for the rest of her life, and I think that's definitely my main duty as a son to her. So now, kind of just playing for legacy and love of the game at this point.
Yeah.
You know.
Love of the game. I mean, love of the game. You want to win a ring.
Yeah.
Does this change things a little? Be honest. Are you like, oh gosh, now like there's a bigger expectation of me? There's more to it. Like, do you feel like what I have to do more? Is there any of that? No. Yes. No?
I mean, there's still not even that. I just think for me personally, there's still goals that I have yet to accomplish in terms of like personal accolades and just things here and there. Obviously, the ring is still out there for us, the Cowboys, to chase. So there's still so much to play for. I don't even look at it as pressure. It's just still got goals and things that I want to accomplish.
Well, pressures are what you do best, my friend. Your pressures are insane. I want to talk about what earned you this deal, all this hard work from when you were a kid through now. You're playing for, you know, obviously Jerry Jones, that fan base that wants it so bad, and that, you know, fan base that really loves you. You had a 99% likability rating about this deal yesterday. Everyone was happy for you. I loved seeing it. But you had a career high in sacks. You can't really argue giving you this deal or extending you or making this move. Quarterback hits, tackles, but third most pressures among defensive tackles. When you look back on the year that you had from an individual goal perspective like you're talking about, what are you most proud
of? Definitely, I think the body of work is just to be able to improve year in and year out just speaks to the work and the consistency that I have and the work that I'm putting in and will continue to put in. So it's exciting. I think I'm happy with the work. Best year that I've had, like as a rusher, thus far. But like I said, there's just still a lot left on the table. There's a lot out there for me to go and get. So, you know, just kind of looking at that.
It was plays like this, Osa, that got you paid. Your second career NFL strip sack, Week 15, against little Bryce and these Panthers. You get a good jump off the line of scrimmage. Damian Lewis, sorry. Walk me through the play.
So there was a rush that I had before that where he did like the exact same thing in the first half. So I was just kind of quietly visualizing what I would do if I got that block again. I didn't know it was going to come like right then at that play, but like I knew before the play that it was a pass. So I kind of had that idea in my head, and then it just happened, like, just kind of exactly how I visualized it. Not in terms of like the strip sack and everything, but just in terms of like the way I was going to beat the block.
Yeah.
Was exactly what I thought about in my head.
It looked like you knew it was coming. Just the way that you immediately dodged the hands. Like, I'm like, you anticipated that. You knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked seeing that. Outside of what you do on the field, what is your role? You really stuck out to me, and I do interviews all day long. You really stuck out to me last year because it was such like a slap to everybody that criticizes the Cowboys, right? Because you're like, we have the guys. Are you an emotional leader? Are you a positive guy? Like, for fans that might know, what is your role in that locker room? Is it emotional leader? Is it quiet leader?
I don't know about quiet. I'm not like super talkative. I like to be the guy that's definitely feeding people positivity, someone that leads by example. I would say more so of leading by example. If there's someone that you could look at, I feel like, and be like, this is how you should operate in the building. I take it to an extreme, clearly, but like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But if I like to think myself, if you can look at somebody and the work ethic and the process, I like to say that I do it the right way. I'm 1,000% that everybody in the building would agree. So I'm just going to keep doing that, setting the standard, being the example.
I love that. Has Micah reached out to you to say congrats?
Yeah, we had talked about it a little bit, even just beforehand. That's my guy. So we had talked about it, even when I was thinking about just throughout the whole process, weighing the options and everything like that. Just kind of kept each other in the loop.
Good. I love that. I mean, I saw you put you on his Instagram story, and I just loved that. I thought that's just a great teammate, especially when his deal isn't done yet. But I assume, like, he's next. When you were signing that, were you like, is Micah here too? Is he coming in after me? How important is it to you that they move to that and get that done?
It's extremely important. I feel like we play off of each other very well. We do a good job of rushing off each other. So for him to come back is very important to me and the team. I think we're a much better football team with him on the field than without him. So it's extremely important to get that deal done.
All right, let's go, Jones family. Let's get it done. CeeDee Lamb made contract news yesterday as well. Restructured deal, saves around $20 million in cap space. And I love that he said this on Twitter. He said to a response to somebody saying, why'd you do that, or whatever. I forget what the tweet was, but he said, I want to win. It's going to take more than just myself. What does this say about this team? Because I think a lot of people out there seeing this tweet and they're rolling their eyes, like, win what? Wasn't the year you guys expected to have. What do you think of that?
I mean, not to make any excuses, but like, injuries are a real thing. It could happen to anybody. You can go into the season with the best team on paper, and the injury bug might have completely different plans. But just in terms of what CeeDee said, I agree with that. You know what I mean? He's trying to open up some space so we can make some moves and make this a better team. So I agree with that decision 100%. And it's not like he's losing any money by doing it. You know what I mean? He just moves it around a bit. So I don't see why. I mean, it's not even a question. It's a no-brainer,
No, I don't know. I think it's amazing that this team feels this way. I think it's hard for teams that don't get where they want to go, where they know they want to be, and as talented as they are, to sort of get off the mat and do it and have that sort of, like, I would love to ask you, like, who's responsible for that? Who's responsible for, I don't know, like, I look at a George Kittle in the Bay, right? Like, they've gotten to the biggest games and lost, but, like, you have to have it up here, the mental toughness, the emotional IQ to, like, take yourself off the mat. Who is that in that locker room that's like, no, we have a winning culture, we can do this?
I feel like it's not just one person. I feel like it's a collective of guys. Like, we love each other, you know what I mean? And we've felt that pain of not making it through those big games. And I think everyone just has a collective desire to want to win and get that done. And everyone's making the moves and doing what they can to try and get it done. So I think it just speaks to the culture that we have as a team, you know what I mean? And there's a level of selflessness that we have.
Yeah, there's an idea that this, and I understand the idea, that there need to be changes. Things need to change. Last year when I talked to you, you didn't have that. You didn't share that opinion. We have the guys. We have the guys. Do you think that things need to change? is a change to be made? What is it, knowing what you know and how important you are to that locker room?
Things are going to change. That's the NFL. You know what I mean? Like, trying to retain guys. There's a lot of guys in free agency. It wasn't just myself. That just is what it is. Change is the nature of the beast. So, with that being said, just making sure that the right changes are being made. If it's going to happen, let's make it to benefit us as much as possible. So I think, again, just everyone trying to be selfless and do what they can to make sure that things go well for us this season.
I think it's important that you like the culture there, and you do. You sound like you. It's a good culture there. I wouldn't, not that I don't expect that, but I would understand if it went through some tough times, as this team's gone through tough times. I don't think that the Cowboys organization gets enough credit for the culture in that locker room. So I appreciate everything that you're saying. And the change has been made. You guys have Schottenheimer, right? He's there.
Yeah.
He knows a thing or two. He knows how that world works. He knows how Jerry works. He knows how you guys tick. What have you already noticed about his mark, his leadership? And he went in there and he cleaned house a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I like who he brought in. I like his philosophy, things that he's talked about in the media as far as like doing what the players do best. I absolutely love that. You know, it's about winning matchups. So if you put us in the best position to do what we do best, we're going to be the most likely to win our matchups. So I'm in support of it.
Okay.
And Shotty's just a great dude. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, you're smiling. I want to know what you mean. I think it's another, like the world wants to tear the Cowboys apart, so it's an eye roll that Shoddy got the job. They wanted something bigger, different, but your face is saying, no, we have the guy we want.
We have the guy we want. The team, the locker room loves Shoddy, and I think that's part of where it starts. And I believe he's a smart guy, and just the person that he is. He's a good dude, you know. Called me afterwards.
Really?
Said congratulations. Me and my family went to dinner. He found out where we went to dinner at, and he sent me a little gift too. You know, just the kind of care that he has for us, and it's the kind of coach that you can run through a wall for. You know.
What did he send you? What did he send? Tell me.
A bottle of champagne.
He did. He found out where you guys were going, and he said, "Deliver." That's a classy touch. That's nice.
Guy.
All right.
Sure.
More strip sacks on the way here in 2025 season. I love seeing that. You know what I keep reading about with I guess him and the culture. And I think we have to take a TV break, but we are still live on YouTube with newly paid Osa, who can afford his own champagne but doesn't have to. I love that for you. I keep saying the word energy. Like all my producers are like, energy. Energy keeps coming up. Can you help me understand that as we get into this offseason of free agency? Like, what kind of energy shift has there been?
You know,
Do you agree?
I feel like in terms of energy shift, or I like Shotty's energy, but in terms of like energy shift, you know, it's just, I'd say we're just gonna have to, not to say anyone's trying to be a hero or anything like that, but just making sure it's a collective, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just coming together. And it was dark times last year. I think this is just going to cause us to come even closer as a team. And if there's going to be any shift in energy, it's just going to be us becoming more cohesive and us coming together and becoming even more tight-knit, you know?
I love that. Are you surprised that Coach McCarthy doesn't have a head coaching gig this year?
I didn't even know that he didn't, but a little bit. But at the same time, not really. It's only 32 spots. It's not always going to be something that just pops up open, you know? It's an unpredictable beast, the NFL, so.
So true.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because, you know, here's what I know. The Cowboys draft real well. Like, you're homegrown. CD's out here taking restructured deals. He's that Dak, maybe the biggest value at the quarterback spot in recent memory, outside of Brock Purdy, of course, but, you know, whatever, Dak's been doing it longer, more consistently. Cowboys draft well. Genty could be sitting there at 12, Osa. That's giving me 2016 Zeke vibes, okay? How much harder would this offense be to defend with CD and Genty?
That would be awesome. I think a great run game and a great pass game goes hand in hand. If you can run and pass the ball, it makes it easier on everybody. Being one-dimensional is really easy as a defender, you know what I mean, to play against. If I know exactly what you're going to do, whether it be running all the time or passing the ball all the time, or if I know that you struggle with one, so you're going to lean more towards the other, it just makes it that much easier. So I feel like when you're strong as an offense, both those ways, and you can attack people and get the ball in the end zone in multiple ways, it just makes it that much harder to defend.
Would you like Genty at 12?
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
That'd be crazy. I would like that. You know, Shador could be around at 12.
I mean, that's awesome too, but we have quarterback already. You know what I mean?
That's right, Osa. You have a quarterback already, and you guys are going to get these things done in 2025. Before you go, you know, you could not care about anything in the world right now. You're a made man. You're taking care of your mom. You're doing all of this. But you have your foundation's inaugural gala that you are spearheading, that I know that you're passionate and exciting about. Tell me more about it.
The Odighizuwa Foundation Gala is going to be the first one ever. We got some live music performing. We're just trying to raise money to be able to do more of what we've been doing, which is help single-parent families, you know? Just trying to make even bigger impact on these people and try and change more lives than we have been. Proud to say that we have in this past 3 years. So just trying to get some more support to be able to do what we've been doing and do it better. So the gala is on March 29th. I've heard some people even say that they thought it was like invite only. That is not true.
Okay.
Anybody can buy tickets to the gala. You could buy a ticket if you wanted, Kay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the 29th from the 5 to 8. There are live musical performances, so everybody check that out. There's a silent auction. That's how you can help with the fundraising. Player appearances. You know Osa's going to bring the best Cowboys to this. There's a panel. There's information. It's really, really important to support the players who give their all for you. So please, guys, go support. And you can go to the, I think it's, let's see. It's on the screen. Oh, there it is. Right there. Perfect. I don't have it on here. But yes, do that. Enjoy the gala. I heard you say I could get a ticket. Maybe I'll get a ticket to come down there. But I'm so happy for you. Enjoy the rest of the off season. Sleep well.
Thank you.
And hi to your mom. Beautiful. We'll be back.
Mom says hi.
So amazing. Okay. I loved having him. Incredible. Yes, I hear you. We will be okay. And with these 15 seconds. And we'll be back, I guess, tomorrow with who knows who's stopping by the show. But thanks to Osa, thanks to Gotham for stopping by. We'll see you guys tomorrow.